What you're really telling me is that you've just made this up because you can't show me any proofs. Anyway, they got frustrated. The first one got frustrated and wouldn't talk to me anymore. And then about a week or two later, maybe 4 weeks later, I talked to the one in Washington. And when I got him on the phone, before I got very far at all, he already knew that I'd talked to this guy in New York. That's how tight they are. They got to all talk to each other to make sure that they know that somebody's trying to find out something.
Keep their story straight.
Keep the story straight.
And he just tried to look down at me, so to speak, with his language as well. You and your little tinfoil hat. And I told him, my tinfoil hat's just fine. How's yours? But none of them wants to show any proof. I don't think either one of them have actually been to the Grand Canyon.
I call these people armchair archaeologists. They don't go out, they just sit there and think they know things that they won't get out and look at.
And you guys have made a ton of trips out here.
Yes.
Taking your binoculars, photographs of everything. And after you lost your photos, you came back, and Donna, you told me what would happen to you out here.
I can't remember.
The car.
The car.
Another black car.
Oh, yeah, I forgot.
Another black Suburban when we were out here.
Followed us.
Fell in behind us. We didn't think anything about it. We go ahead and tell Donna was driving so she can tell the story.
I pulled off the side of the road because I thought he wanted to pass, because the speed limit's like 45 in the one canyon I was in. And I pulled off on a real narrow spot so that the car could go by. Well, he pulled in right behind me, and I'm going, what in the heck are you doing? Anyway, another car passed, so I waved him on, and he wouldn't go. So finally, I backed up enough that I could get out of the place and left, and we came up to a view site, and here he comes right behind us. Parks behind us, does the whole thing like he's trying to catch up with us. Go to another one, here he is again. I took off again, didn't stay at that one because I wanted to get rid of it.
So I said to Donna, pull in and out of every one we come to. What did you do, Donna?
We went almost to Cape Royal, and there's a place just before you get on the real steep part and the real sharp turn where you can pull out and park. It's wider. So I whipped a U-turn there and was going to go on, and here comes that car and pulls up right behind us again.
So,
I was ticked.
So we decided to go to dinner at the lodge. We come out, tell them what's going on, Donna, after dinner.
We come out, no one's bothering us. We get down to the road where it turns off to go to Cape Royal and Imperial Point, and all of a sudden this car's following us again. And so I finally get far enough ahead of him that he can't see around the corners and pull into the station where you come in, and there happened to be some big semis parked off on the side, and I pulled in behind the semis so that they couldn't see us, and they passed, and that was the end of it. But it was a little hair-raising to have that happen.
So that was a black SUV?
Oh yeah, just like out of the movies.
Did you happen to get a license?
There were no plates.
There were
No
plates.
license plate.
No
And
license
the
plates.
guys were both smoking, because when they rolled the windows down, the smoke would just barrel out, and the guy would always stick his head out to try and see, like he could see something in our car or something. I don't know what it was, but
I don't know. We still don't know what they want.
Unnerved me.
So anyway, there's a lot of, so that made Donna and I even more interested in we call it the quest.
That just made you more determined.
Yes,
Well-
we just call it the quest. And so we just kept on looking in different places, especially this one canyon that we went in, and kept finding more statues. And then the thing that I really like is that we have two good pictures of horses that are very, very old. I mean, they're big, they're probably 40 feet big, tall, and I really like to say, yes, there were horses before the Spaniards, and I believe that.
And all of these places where there are things, it's not like it's easy to get to them. So if the archaeologists came in and said, these are frauds or these are fakes, I'd like to know what men would come in and spend the hours and days and weeks and even months to do what they've done in some of these places, because these are not a fly-by-night scratch on the wall or paint on the wall. We don't know for sure if it's paint or what, because some of it's black and some of it's white and some of it's carved and some of it's cracked, and it's just really hard to tell. There are places that we can see where they probably have painted, but we can't even get close enough to look at it.
Our camera,
Yeah.
with our camera and our lenses, and we're looking at things a mile away, we're doing the best we can. And we need a bigger camera and a bigger lens so we can get up in there close. And right now, the Park Service has closed all the caves to everyone. The Indians, the Hopis, everybody, all the spelunkers, everybody wants to come in and climb and look at them. They have closed them all and saying they're doing a massive bat study. I don't swallow it very well.
Well, they've been doing it for over 30 years now. Because we asked about it long before we heard about Kincaid's Cave, and they were doing a bat study.
We have run into a person in the park here. You could see us poring over maps, and he came in to talk to us. And he said, he wanted to know what we were doing, so we kind of explained, we just have this quest, and we're looking for things of possible habitation by the Indians and Kincaid's Cave a bit. And he says, well, I have a brother who was a Navy SEAL and then became a guide. He was a guide in the Grand Canyon and different places. And he's very reputable. And he told me about taking some archaeologists in and some others to a cave in the Grand Canyon. They asked him to guide them in. And they did, and he described how to get to it, that it was very difficult, and then they let this fellow's brother go in as far as the deity, and so he has a picture of the deity, and
inside this cave.
Inside this cave, and Donna explained the deity a few minutes ago, and it's big, and I like the pictures of it. That's because it's a cross blend of not just one nationality.
Right.
It's different nationalities, and I think that's really interesting. You can't go in it because they have bars on there, and I don't know, maybe they still have their sniper. I have no idea. But there's nothing there. Why are they protecting it so much?
Well,
why are they blocking out the
right? Why block out the truth?
The other thing that bothers me is, if there isn't really a Kincaid's Cave, why does the park always talk about the Kincaid's Cave?
The park talks about.
Oh yes, they say the Kincaid Cave has been blocked off. Well, why even mention it? Why not just say all the caves in the park are blocked off? But they specifically say Kincaid's Cave, and most people.
But remember, he never existed according to the Smithsonian. They said he never existed.
And not only that, if there wasn't a cave, why are they talking about a cave? Why are they basically admitting without admitting that there is a cave? Because the rest of the caves don't have a name, and if they do, we don't know. And most people who are novice that come in here looking for it don't even know where it is. Dwayne and I have figured out where it is with all the research we've done. We have put hours and hours. We've studied Joseph of Egypt. We've studied
hundreds and hundreds.
Yeah,
yes.
We've studied the writings of Asenath, who was his wife. We've
studied other cultures that believe in Joseph also, and the stories they had about him, and our understanding of Joseph was greatly expanded. And I just think have a great admiration for him as the type of person he was. And what's some of the other things we've seen?
Joseph of Egypt.
Yes, and his name is Zoroaster.
Or
Djoser.
Djoser, and another name he has is, just a minute, I have to think of it. Oh, it starts with an N. Napeth, something. Anyway, it's a two-word thing, and that was also given to him by the Pharaoh.
Now, one of the spires here is named Zoroaster. Well, that was Joseph's name. How did Powell know to name it Zoroaster? No, he didn't know. It came from the Hopi Indians.
And the Hopis say that because we met with them and talked to them.
So we'll tell you about the meeting we had with the Hopis after we had all this information. We made a meeting set up, and we sat down with some of them, and we was telling them about the things we had found and what we were doing. And they said, well, you know, we can't talk about that stuff. That's like your temple ceremony in your church. You can't talk about it. And you're saying the stuff that's in our temple ceremony. And but we can agree with you if it's there. So just keep talking and tell us what you know. And he says, oh, that's great. There's a lot more, but we can't tell you. And yes, we do believe in Joseph. We do believe in this. We do believe in these things.
We do believe he came to the king, and we do believe these people were here. We do believe they raised crops.
We do believe they came in big ships with white sails, which we have found a big ship with white sails on a wall here in Grand Canyon. It's a great, great carving, and it still has a little white on it, and we got a good picture of it.
And also, when we were with the Hopi Indians, one of the gentlemen that was there had been out gardening because they garden a lot here. They had found 2 cartouches, or a cartouche is a rock or something that has their name inscribed in hieroglyphs. And on the other side of them, there are scarabs or beetles. So they looked like they were only maybe that high. One was a little smaller. It looks like that they used them to stick in wax to seal a letter or something. And I thought, those just didn't happen here. They didn't fly over here from Egypt and drop them off. So
well, that's just more proof that the Hopi Indians have, hey, we have a history. We have rights. All this land that was taken because of manifest destiny and because of Darwinism in the schools, everything they wanted, we had rights to this land also, and you said we didn't because of those things. Go
ahead.
Anyway, in this meeting, it's very interesting. One of the gentlemen got up and he introduced himself, and he says, I'm number 2 in command. I don't remember his name. And he went in the other room and he brought back a beautiful carved stick. And this is kind of the emotional part for me. And he came back in, he looked right at me and he said, Dwayne, I prayed you here. And it got real quiet. And he put that stick right here on my forehead and looked at me in the eyes and said, Dwayne, you're a holy man. Thank you for being here. I don't know the rest of the story of that yet, but I'll let you know.
The other thing is, if you've been to the Hopis and studied the Hopis and the Navajos and the Zunis that are in this area, to me, in studying all those, it's the Hopi that seem to have been the most permanent people here. And when we went to meet with them, we actually went to Arabi, which is the oldest community in the United States. They say it's over 4,000 years old, and to look at it, it looks that old. And I know the Navajos and the Zunis don't have anything to even compare to something like that. So where did this town come from if it wasn't here for that long? Because it looks like it's that old. It's just stacked rocks, basically, built in the old style. Very interesting to see it. We didn't take a tour through the town. You have to have special permission to go down into it. We went up to the edges of it.
But Don and I feel that if we had to, that probably 80% sure we could prove that the Hopis have a history here from all the things that we've found. And that might be a good thing for some, bad for others. But I think that's the truth.
Tell me what you was telling me about Major Powell.
Donna?
Well, Dwayne used to really admire Major Powell, but the more I read about him, the less I liked him. He went down the river here. He claims he's the first one to go down the Colorado. There was a man named White that went down before him, which he doesn't even acknowledge, but if you read the histories, you'll find that's true.
So did he know that White went down first?
Yes, he did.
And he just never
And
acknowledged.
he doesn't acknowledge that, but if you read the books, you will see that he did. He never wrote anything on it, so I guess that Powell figures that makes him the first one to go down, and that was a white man. And he also claims that he was the leader, but he really wasn't the leader. He was more of just one of the guys in the background that was interested, even though he organized everything. He wasn't the guy that he said he was when he wrote his book. But if you read the books of the others that went down the river with him, you'll see what I mean about him not being the leader. He was just one of the guys. Most of them were more involved with the actual part of the trip than Powell, because Powell only had one arm, and so he just kind of did whatever he wanted to do. And when they tell about the three men that left at Separation Canyon, how they wanted to go to St. George instead of going on down the river. Well, actually, there had been kind of a little rebellion, and they wanted them out of the boat. And so they go, and then those three men that left are actually killed by the Indians when they get up on top of the plateau.
Yeah, I've been to Separation Canyon and looked over into it, and it's just hard to imagine them even climbing out in that place. And I was always amazed that they could come out there directly south of St. George, Utah. They must have had good navigation. And I have been to the place where they were killed by the Indians out on the Arizona Strip.
So you guys have been driven almost and I know that feeling because I was driven when I was researching the mystery glyphs.
Yes.
You guys have been driven to track down the truth, the histories, the mysteries of what went on.
It's just been fun for us. But it kind of gets a little scary when cars park across the street and follow you and block out your computer. And so there's a lot more to the story. We've heard that there's some government officials that perhaps are going in with another country for uranium rights here by the Grand Canyon. And we might be interrupting some of that. I don't know. I could tell you who, but maybe I better not mention names.
And the Hopis talked a little bit about that to us. That they thought maybe we might have to help them to fight the government from trying to do what they wanted to do, but I think that's kind of been settled already partially.
I don't know. I hope so.
They were going to build. They were going to build some things there, right where they didn't want them to build, and
on their sacred.
Yeah.
On their sacred ground, or right by it.
But it isn't theirs.
The government's, you mean?
Yeah, it's okay. It's the government's, and they'll take care of it, but don't block it off for everybody to see.
Yeah.
Now that we've got a major find here, and it's been known since 1909, when Thomas Kincaid climbed up the wall into this dark area and found these huge tunnels, artifacts that looked Egyptian, writings on the wall. One writing, S.A. Jordan said, was a schoolroom to teach people how to speak Egyptian.
There were a lot of tablets in it.
A lot of tablets and a lot of things in there. And but it's getting harder and harder to find proof of these things. I'm glad Don and I started 4.5 years ago, because we've got a lot.
So I remember you saying that there was another news. Everybody knows about the 1909 Phoenix Gazette article, but you're saying there's some other articles out there about
I was watching YouTube the other night, and there was mention of another article that supports that they were talking about it, that was from California, and I think it was either Los Angeles or San Diego. I've been going to go back, find that video again, and take notes or take pictures of the pictures so that I had things that were in writing that I could study. But I haven't done that. I just found that about 2 weeks ago and haven't got back to it. Watch, it'll be probably gone now because I saved that.
after studying some of these government entities, Don and I feel very strongly that if they know what this is, they'll destroy it. So there is no proof of ancient culture here.
So, because of that, you're kind of hesitant.
We are very.
Oh, and I am honored and feel blessed that you took me and showed me your research and your steps, and I really, really appreciate that.
Oh, it's nice to be here in
Well-
Grand Canyon with you tonight.
Terry is the only one that we've ever shown where it is. The
And
only one.
we just feel it would get destroyed. We want it protected.
Yes.
We want to have it protected and become public. Yes, it's there. All these things that we have found. And so we know why they want to destroy it. We don't want that to happen.
Yep.
And we can see that in the four and a half years we've been looking at it, that there are parts of the things that are cut into rocks are starting to chip away and go away. I was showing a picture to Terry that Joseph of Egypt's spirit animal was a crocodile. And we found a crocodile, and that crocodile looks like he's about ready to fall apart. That's the worry we have, is before anyone ever knows all these things are there, they're going to be gone. And we don't want them to be gone before somebody has an opportunity to write about them or learn about them.
But we have the means and the knowledge now, scientific knowledge, to hold these things together. And maybe they can hold them together for another 1,000 years so people can see them. And so that's our concern. If there's anyone interested in this, contact Terry or us that would like to help us preserve this. It's already in a preserve, but we're afraid if some entities found out, it would get destroyed.
It would be difficult to get to a lot of the places, but if you're like the government and they don't want you to know, they have the means necessary to do some of that stuff. And it's been a worry of ours that they might come and do that. I wouldn't show them very many of the things, and I wouldn't tell them where I was when I took the pictures, because I worried about that. Because they are in such denial, and as my daughter says, their feet are in denial. The Nile River.
But we approached our senator from Utah and told them, we didn't get to see our senator, but we got to tell the secretary about this, and she said, yeah, it's real, it's got to be. But we never heard anything, and we filled out forms, said, okay, we'll hear from you. Never heard anything. Donna sent a letter. We went as far as sending a letter to our president. We never heard anything. We sent letters
I've had two, a congressman and the senator, that I have filled out the paperwork where they have to answer you within 3 months. Not heard a word.
No word.
And I didn't hear anything from the president, which I didn't think I would, but I was hoping he would turn it over to somebody who would comment at least, and I didn't get anything. I'm probably racked up as one of those kooks. But I can be a kook all they want to say, because I've seen what I've seen.
I know what I've seen. Some people say, man, I have too much of an imagination. But I want you to know the pictures that we have kept, as we call them first class, is among from probably, 2,000 pictures we've taken, Donna? And so we're pretty picky. We try to keep a good empirical point of view and not let our imaginations run wild.
They've ran wild a couple of times, but we've still sat down and said, no, wait.
We laugh about a lot of the things too.
There are a few pictures I need to show Terry. He'll have a laugh at them, but anyway.
Well, with that said, man, I really appreciate you guys contacting me, taking me on this field trip, showing me things. And with that said, that's a wrap.
That's it. Thank you.
main interest that